1,200 people, no intersections and no stoplights. Very small community, but it's in the heart of western Massachusetts, just south of the Vermont-New Hampshire border, right on the Connecticut River, where there's 4 seasons and a great place to live.
Cool. How long has French King Bowling been in business?
I started in 1959. My father started it, actually. I was out ski jumping for many years. I was on a U.S. ski jumping team, and he said to me one night, he says, what do you guys do on Saturday nights when you're out skiing? I says, well, we went bowling, and the first time we went bowling was in West Point, New York, and it was 10-pin, the big balls, 16-pounders. And then the following weekend, we were ski jumping in Salisbury, Connecticut, and we went bowling that Saturday night too, and it was duck pins. And I'm going, wait a minute, this is a funny game. 10 little pins, smaller than the 10 pins, and the ball was about 3.5 pounds and 5.5 inches in diameter. I said, well, this is different. Well, the next weekend we were in Greenfield, Massachusetts, where we had a ski jump years ago. And we went bowling, and it was candle pins, a whole different game. It was, 2 pounds, 5-ounce bowling ball. The pins stood on either end. You played with the deadwood. It was crazy. It was a lot of fun. It was wild. And so the next thing I know, my father says, we're going to break ground. I'm going to build a 12-lane bowling center. We started in April. We opened the doors in September. I think it was September 4th, 1959. That day, I was in college, going to commercial college in Northampton, and I came home, and my father wasn't too mechanically inclined, and one of the machines got stuck, grabbed the V-belt, cut his thumb off, and so I've been in here ever since that day working the bowling center. And we have improved it over the years, and we added 8 lanes. We added 4 lanes in 1960, then we added 8 lanes in, I think, 1972, and then we went on to add 12 10-pin lanes in 1987. So we grew from 12 lanes actually to 36 lanes over many years, it was about 30 years. But now we're back down to 16 lanes, and we lost a lot of the big commercial industries in this area, Millers Falls Tool, Millers Falls Paper, Strathmore, so the league base kind of died away with it, but we're rebuilding it now.
Cool. Now what's the difference between your kind of bowling? So you have the candlestick, right? So that's not very common. I'm used to bowling with the big bowls, and I have played with the duck pin because from Connecticut, so we have a few of those.
Yep.
But so can you explain that to me?
Sure. Candlepin has been around. Actually, it was really the game that was started. We say it was invented by Rip Van Winkle when he woke up in Worcester, Massachusetts, and that's actually a true story. It's really a New England sport. It's basically in Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, and 2 provinces in Canada, New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. I happen to be the president of the International Candlepin Bowling Association as well, so I'm well versed in what's going on in the industry. It's a fast game. It's a wild game. We utilize the deadwood when it is down, and there was a thing my father put together years ago where 10 pins, the pins when they fall down, they're cleaned away from the plate. But in Candlepin, the game, the deadwood remains a challenge to the game because it's there to either deter you from hitting the pin that's standing or it helps you. So the difference being that you get 3 balls per frame. Scored the same. Strikes with 1 ball, spare with 2 balls, you get them all down, and the 3rd ball you just clean up what you got left. I happen to hold the world's highest single string ever bowled in the game, and I set that back in 1984. It was a 245. The only person ever to have 7 strikes in a row in the first 7 frames of the string. And in Candlepins, we bowl 5 frames at a time, then sit down, and then it's your turn again to get up bowl the other half. But that record stood until about a year ago when somebody tied it. So I still have the #1 game in the world of Candlepins.
How did that feel when someone came close?
Yeah, somebody came close, but that was almost 30 years later. But it's a tough game, but it's fun. It's a game where the person on the right has the right of way, and then it's all free. We just holler and scream at them and try to get their attention away from what they're doing. So it's a lively game. It's a lot of fun.
Did you say you're the king of candlepin bowling?
The king, yeah, that'd be nice to say. Well, I do have the world's record, highest single string, but I am involved in it with being involved with the Western New England Candlepin Bowling Association, which was in 1959. And then in early 90s, I became president of the ICBA, International Candlepin Bowling Association. And it was like I took on a permanent job outside of my own business here. This business actually started in 1945 with my parents, who both came from Norway. And they settled in New York. He was working for IBM, decided he didn't want to work for anybody, and bought this little piece of property up here that we sit on today. It was a little roadside stand where in the spring you open up the shutters with a pole. We made our own ice cream. We ground our own beef, patted our own hamburgers. My mother did all the cooking and made all the cakes and pies, angel food cakes and, apple pies, rhubarb pies and so on and so forth. We had chickens, cows, pigs, it was really a lot of fun. In 1953, he built a motel. The only motel that was between Albany, New York and Boston, Mass.
Yeah, let's talk about, so I'll move this back quick. What other businesses do you own? What is part of this French
This complex,
King empire?
like I said, started with the roadside stand and 10 cabins, and we had a little banquet house in the farmhouse that we lived in. In 53, he built that first motel, and that was a 12-room motel. It had twin beds in a couple of rooms, had one double bed in the other rooms, and it was like $5 a night for the double bed, and $6 a night for the two twin beds. 1954, he built another motel, so we had actually 28 rooms.
What do you own now? Do you own?
I still have it, but
Yeah.
what we did was we convert. I got tired of collecting rent every night. We added on to the restaurant, and if you put everything in perspective, we had the restaurant, we had the motels. In 1972, I bought everything from him because in '59 we built the bowling center. So I had one season ran into the other season, and I said, wait a minute, I'm tired of collecting rent every day, so I made them into apartments. Mid-'80s, I made apartments out of the motels. I bulldozed one over, built a new building, took the roof off of another one, added the second story to it. And so we had that. Then we decided to put in storage units, and then when we took out some of the 10-pin lanes, we put in climate control storage units. And then I got the post office, so.
Oh, great.
it's
So
a lot.
yeah, let's condense that. So you own, just say, I own, or we own, your family owns the bowling alley, the post office, storage units.
Yeah. All right, so in total now, we own the post office, we own the bowling center, we own the convenience store, which has a Dunkin' Donuts in it, we have apartments, and we have storage facilities, both climate and unclimate controlled units.
Great. So you obviously, there's a long history with French King. What role do you think it plays in the urban community?
Major employer, recreation facility, pays a lot of
sorry,
taxes.
I don't want to interrupt you, but let's do that again and just say French King Bowling is a major employer. We just have to answer everything in complete sentences, so that way if they cut and edit it,
Okay.
we could start right from there.
Okay.
So let's try that one more time.
Okay. French King Bowling Center, well, say,
That's okay.
you wanted me to say what we are in here in Irving,
Yeah.
right? Well, what we do in Irving actually is, number one, we pay a lot of taxes. We're a recreation center. We're a place that people can go and have meetings. A lot of things go on here. If you need a cup of coffee, you can get that here. Or if you need to store some of your equipment, that can happen also.
Oh, so what, is this like the town center? Like, is this where people come to hang out? Or was that more so like a few decades ago?
No, I think it is. It's a place that the people can come and relax, enjoy whatever's going on here, because there's more than just bowling. There's an arcade, there's a lounge, we got a giant TV set if they want to watch a game. A great place to have town meeting, it's not the town meeting place, but people can talk about what's going to happen at the local town meeting. New England town meetings are very unique, where everybody has a vote. So there's a lot of gossip that goes on. So
Like what?
we fit.
Like, what kind of gossip?
Well, you want to know what's going on up at the other end of town, or what fire burned down this, or who's running the police cruisers, whatever the case.
So like small town politics?
There
you
you
deal with
go,
that?
sure. Small town politics, it's just a wild place to be. Even only 1,200 people, there's a lot of things that are said around here.
Ooh, juicy. All right. So this has been a family business from the start. What is it like for you now working with your son?
Oh, we have our days. Working with Eric is a lot of fun. I have two sons. One of them is a flight attendant for Southwest Airlines, and Eric wanted to stay in town. So he went to work for me. And we don't always agree. There's no question about that. I've tried to blow some of the dust off of the lanes when they were sanding them and refinishing them, and I try to blow it up and blow it out the front door. I come around, he's blowing it back down into the machines again. So that's a case where we had a few words. And then sometimes where I see that he's up there watching TV where he could be out doing something different. But
Yeah, you told me how you complain about how much he watches TV. Does he watch TV a lot?
he does. He watches it a lot. If I come in here, he'll be out adjusting one television set, another program on another one. Well, I'm always busy doing something, I just got to keep busy.
Yeah, tell me about your day. Like, what time do you get in? What do you do?
My day usually begins about 3 a.m. when I come up here, and I can't go over to the convenience store and make sure that that's all clean, ready to go, because Dunkin' Donuts comes in at 5. So I cash out all the drawers over there, make sure they got enough change for the day, make sure that everything's stocked and right. Then I come over to the bowling center on a regular Winter League, for example. I clean the bowling center, I cash out over here, make sure the ATMs are full. Then I try to get into my office to do the office work, and it's generally a great time of day to do it because you don't really get a lot of phone calls and a lot of people coming in wondering what you're doing about this, that, and the other thing. Of course, my other life was with Shriners Hospitals for Children, so, and that along with the ICBA, I got tons of things going on and things going through my mind all the time. So and my day usually ends somewhere around 10 o'clock at night. So short night sleeping and non-stop 7 days a week. But that's the beauty of owning your own business. You can work 7 days a week. You don't have to worry about 40 hours.
Yeah, what's the beauty about, so that's the beauty of owning your own business. What's the beauty about working with the family?
It's good to have family-owned business. It has its days, when you have some arguments and some unfriendly terms, but for the most part, we get along very good. Some of the family didn't want to take and work 40 hours or more than 40 hours a week. Eric does. He does a good job. He got married finally, and then he got a child and took care of the child a lot. And I can't blame him for that because I was probably not the best parent in the world because I was more concentrating on the business part of it. We had to pay the mortgages and so on and so forth. And so at the time he lived across the street, and sometimes I'd have to hurry over here to see who was in the building and leave Eric and Dwayne at home for about 10 seconds and then run right back again. So the beauty of living right next door to where the business is or on the same property. Do you still live right next door? Yeah, I live across the street.
Let's say that one more time.
I live across the street, so it only takes me 10 seconds to get here.
Okay. Good. So it's like you live, breathe, and eat, at this place. 1 second, let me pull this up. All right. So you do have some younger employees. Is there a generation gap between you and some of your employees? Does that cause a problem sometimes?
Not really. The young people who come to work today, sometimes I wonder if they really want to work or just come in and put some time in. We have some good people that work here, no question about it. But as I look over the county, people want a job just to say they got a job, but they don't really want to work. There's not a generation gap. I think that I'm susceptible to change, and I know what happens out there. I mean, it's a lot different 40, 50 years ago when everybody was smoking a cigarette and you had to empty the ashtrays every 10 seconds when they were bowling. You don't have that anymore. I was able to say, no, we're not going to have any smoking here. I actually get tired of going home smelling like a nicotine fit. Or I could take a chair outside and you'd say, my God, is this what the inside of our lungs are like?
How old are you?
Take a guess.
You don't have to, this is just for...
I know. I'm 72.
All right. Okay, that's great. That's awesome.
Yep. I'm a young guy, born in 1940.
Cool.
A Libra.
All right. I think we got them all. One more question. What are some funny or odd things that happen here?
Funny things that happen here? Well, there's a lot of comedy of errors, as we say in the bowling business. We had a tournament one day. It was a men's team tournament. And they'd have to come in and we'd have to assign lanes. Or they would come up and pick their lane, And this one was a Polish individual who came up. And he picked 11 and 12. And he says to me, how can I bowl on 1 and 1 and 1 and 2? And I says, Stashu, it's 11 and 12, not 1 and 1, 1 and 2. That was about the funniest thing I'd heard. I've only been mad once. And I was asked the rule, if there's a double deadwood in the gutter and the 7 or the 10 pin is a target pin, and the ball hits the deadwood the same time it hits the pin, is the pin good? The answer is no, it's not good. Well, they lost by 1 pin. And the guy came up and started hollering at me, and I had a toilet plunger in my hand. And I hit it into the floor, and it bounced up and stuck in the ceiling. So, after that, I just never got mad again. I said, well, you got to roll with the punch.
Well, who would have thought that bowling is an aggressive game? Like, people get so angry. People get really into it, huh? Yeah, they do. And particularly if it's a money league, for example, and you lose by 1 pin because somebody gave them the right rule. We have a lot of that, Do you ever have to kick anyone out of here?
No, never have. I always talk to people if there's an issue. Oh, we've had our few little brawls here and there, no question about it. Every place will have them. But overall, the years that I've been here, it's been a pleasure to work with the public, to work with the people, because they're the boss. They're the ones that has to have it the way they want it, you know. And I see to it that this place is clean, the floors are clean and shiny, because people will want to come back if they're kept that way.
Thank you.